Hey guys, Cassandra here, and this is the first of many episodes of The Wounded Narrator. I've committed to coming on here every day and posting a new video for the next 365 days. This is something that I've wanted to do for quite some time now, but based on my own wounded narrator story, I have not done it. I have lots of things that come up when it comes to being on camera. I have a passion for speaking about these things. I could talk about them for hours, but put me in front of a camera and all of a sudden I lose all sense. I don't remember what I'm talking about or what I'm doing. And part of me wanting to move forward with all of this is just to be more, to build some confidence around being on camera and talking about these things and adding value into your guys' life. And hopefully some of the things that I say can be helpful, because this journey of realigning with who I am and this self-discovery path that I've been on for like the last 5 years, which I've struggled with because of my stubbornness. And part of this is really going and being like, okay, I can either stand and say, I'm not going to do this. This is not who I am, and continue to perpetuate that lie and believe that limitation. Or I can realize that these are stories that I've been telling myself about my capabilities, about my limitations, and pushing myself beyond and learning to trust myself. So I have this nifty cool tripod thingy that comes with this little on and off thing to start and stop the videos as I record them. But for whatever reason, it keeps cutting me off mid-intro. Maybe it thinks I have talked about this enough and I don't need to talk about it anymore. So I'm going to just jump right in to what kind of came up for me recently and how I learned something from it, and now I'm starting to apply it. And that's pretty much the basis of all these things. As I start to uncover more and more of my wounded narrator story and the things that help me move beyond the story and start to fill in the gap between who I think I am and who I actually am, I'm going to start coming on here and sharing these things. So what I had been struggling with recently was emotional awareness, like really wanting to become emotionally aware of what's going on, of my thoughts, of my inner judgments and my feelings, my sensations in my body, just really getting familiar with when things happen or come up for me. And in knowing that in our thoughts are like just these gold nuggets of what's really going on for us under the surface. And I'm back. Most of the time we think that we have thoughts that create emotion, but it's actually the other way around. We have emotions that create thoughts. And most of us have become unfamiliar of what it actually feels like to have an emotion. We are just familiar with the thought. Then we think, okay, well, this thought's making me feel this way, so it's the thought's fault for feeling this way. No, the thought is just there to let you know there is something going on that is trying to bring your awareness to. So as far as, then that's the emotional awareness piece. So we know that these thoughts are coming up. We use them for what they are: information, not fact. Now there might be a fact that something is going on for you, but the thought is just a thing that allows you to know what that is. And what I've noticed is that I was really trying to become emotionally aware. Like I really was. And then I found myself really getting caught in these energies. That's, pretty much what it is. Emotion is an energy in motion throughout the body. And that's what's creating the thought. So I would get really wrapped up in these thoughts. And then I started to develop this thing, what I call quicksand thoughts. It's like I noticed that there are certain thoughts that when I engage with them, I hear it and then I continue an inner dialogue in my head. Like everybody else does, we have a constant inner dialogue. And so I'll hear a thought and I'll feed it. I'll be like, okay, so what's going on? Why do I feel like this? Why am I always feeling like this? This is always happening. This is bullshit. This should not be happening. People are this and this needs to change and that needs to change and all of this needs to stop because this right here must be the product of somebody else, and I don't know. So I've learned to identify that as a quicksand thought that you know is going to take you down, and then it's also a cue that you're about to become emotionally indulgent, right? You're going to feed this thought, you're going to feed this emotion, you're going to connect with it again, reactivate that story for you, and then it's harder to find your way out because you're in the problem, can't see a solution from in the problem. So I was doing that a lot. I was emotionally indulgent. I would just get in there, and I thought I was doing it right. Like, I literally thought, okay, this is how I need to discover what the core of this is. So I need to really dig in. And I was starting to get really frustrated because I was like, dude, I feel like I'm doing this right, but I'm not feeling any better. So I realized that the difference is there's a difference between emotional indulgence and emotional awareness. Emotional awareness says, here's this thought. Something underneath of it, what's really going on here is really active. It needs to be felt. So we think we need to express it. That's another amazing thing. We think we need to express these thoughts. We need to understand them. We need to dig in. But really what it is that this emotion, this energy, this thought is trapped inside of us. And the thought is letting us know that there's energy trapped inside of us. That is negative energy, lower vibration energy, things that are going to attract. So if you attract what you are, if you have a lot of lower vibration energies active within you, then you are going to attract a lower vibration reality, right? So these emotions need to be dealt with. And so a lot of us think that dealing with it means understanding it. What's the real story behind it? Where did this happen? And sometimes that'll come up for you. If you'll notice that you're having an emotion and try to let it pass, you might get another thought that'll come up and join it, and you'll be like, it's from that time when I was 5 and I really wanted to play with my friends and they all abandoned me, and from that point on I've always kind of felt like I really have to make myself known, otherwise I'm going to be abandoned. And that could be the energy that needs to be released. But we keep it active when we indulge in it, and when we feed the story, we try to get too attached to it, right? It just needs to be experienced and passed through. And that's emotional awareness, is that there's something that is trying to emerge, as trying to leave. And what we're doing is when we indulge, it's like, no, we need to push you back down because we're not okay with this. But we don't think we're doing that. Actually, that's what we're really doing. We're trying to get rid of it because we don't like it. And when we don't like something, we want to suppress it, get rid of it, make it out of our awareness. And that's what the mind, the ego, does for us. There are a lot of things that are automatically suppressed because it's like, nope, that's not happening. And over time, they do come out, and through the practice of emotional awareness and meditation and really understanding that our thoughts are information for us to understand, not for us to get connected to. Because a lot of our thoughts are similar thoughts that anybody else is having. They're not unique to you. They're unique to humans. We all have these common drives and urges, and our body has a lot of the same chemical responses, stuff like that. So we have a lot of similar things, and we have a collective consciousness that we all tap into, and that's just how our minds all connect to each other. So a lot of thoughts that we have, other people have, but that's a topic for a whole another conversation. My biggest thing for today is that noticing the difference between emotional awareness and emotional indulgence, and when you are wanting to fill the gap between who you have been and who you really are, and uncovering the story that is creating this reality for yourself, you will start to want to release those things, because you realize that those things you're holding on to, it's like you're holding onto a rope that's attached to a wall over here, right? And this is where you want to be, right? But it's like you're trying to reach here while still holding on to this rope. And you can't take the wall with you. You got to let go of the wall and the rope so that you can move on. So when we hold on to emotions and we don't let them pass through and we continue to suppress them, we're continuing to hold on to the rope and reach out for what we want and not understanding and believing that we can't do it because we're limiting ourselves, not because we are actually limited. So learning emotional awareness versus indulgence. Emotional awareness lets you know what needs to be let go of. And when we emotionally indulge, it's when we feed into these thoughts and we have these experiences and we step into these quicksand thoughts, as I love to call them, because it's just so true. You have a shitty thought, you step on it, you go down, you feel like shit. That's it. So become aware of these, emotional awareness is becoming aware of these quicksand thoughts. Thoughts that if you indulge in them, it's not going to work. So instead, get curious about why they keep coming up. What is trying to come out? What are you trying to let me know with this thought? What am I suppressing? What is holding me back from being the me that I can be instead of this limited version I've been living for so long? So hopefully, I know I had a lot of little pauses throughout this whole video, and hopefully you were able to grasp some of the value that I was trying to put out for you guys today. I know that for me it's been a huge hurdle to get over and understand what I'm doing and why I'm still feeling stuck and why I'm still because stuck is another thing that's trying to pass, but all these things that are coming up. And so hopefully, if you were having the question when you're meditating or you're thinking, why can't I can't silence my mind. Stop trying to silence the mind. Experience the thoughts. Don't indulge in them. Just understand that there's a point to them. They're trying to bring up something so you can let go of something. And disassociating with them as who you are, because your mind is never going to stop. So if you're in this meditation, you're having these awarenesses and you're having these thoughts come up, don't fight them, because you're still holding on to that rope. Let go of the rope. Let them kind of pass through you, see what they bring up, and see what kind of things start to resolve themselves as you start to let go of your attachment to your thoughts and your story and your limitations. So until next time, guys, it was great talking with you. Have a fabulous day.